Thank you. Time back on. That's Ruffcraft, big boy.
Welcome back to Gus and Gawny, sponsored by our great friends in Zurich, East End Barbie Onions.
Shapes is on the naughty list still. We need to get around to them sometime. Squash, Clutch & Co.
Yeah. And that's it.
I think that's probably...
it's a good start. We're coming off a fresh win.
Aren't we? Feels good.
1-0.
Geez, it would have been a tough podcast to do if we had a loss.
Top of the ladder for a good 24 hours.
Yeah, we take that.
And then Port and West Coast just happened to have bigger wins than us, and we're now sitting third on the 2021 AFL Premiership ladder.
Feels good.
Feels good. And there was also, there was two big wins against Fremantle. It was a big win last night.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've got this in my notes, AFLW.
Did you tune in?
Yeah, I felt complacent, I'll say, at about three-quarter time, half time. And then
when Married at First Sight came on, you're wondering if you're a Melbourne home and I can go watch Married at First Sight. But no, they made us watch it till the end of D's Girls.
Yeah, no, but that's probably just for the ratings. They knew that we needed some ratings. 20,000 fans at our game. We'd like to see 50 next time, but they certainly made entertaining viewing, and they got the win, which is the most important
Correct.
thing.
Did you do a bit of men's and female game in one sentence there? You went like 20,000 in our game.
Well, I think they're both fans. If you're a Melbourne fan, you're a fan of all teams,
I felt like you were given a really good recap on both games and put it in one sentence. Found it was very hard to follow.
Well, you have trouble figuring out the harvest, Max, so let's not blame this on me. I think you got to take a bit of responsibility there. How do you think the first game went? Obviously, we won. Do you have any special thoughts, any takeaways?
Well, very messy early. Both teams were. I think it was 4 behinds each at some point in the first quarter. And then we kicked 3 or 4 quick ones. Track hit the post from 5 metres out.
Yeah.
Cozzy's goal was good.
Yep.
I can't remember. I think Tom McDonald kicked one in the first quarter. I hope he did.
Probably.
And I thought it was a real messy game early from both teams. And then we sort of controlled it a little bit more in the second half, even though they were still scoring goals at times.
Yeah. I felt like they were always sort of within striking distance. Yeah. I never felt like... I think they're a good team. They got some good young mids. And
in particular?
Yeah, Chera's pretty good in particular. He's my pick of the bunch.
The Brayshaw battle. Who got the chocolates?
I ran past him so we just got nowhere near each other. Look, I would much rather win. So he can have his 30 and a snag.
Did he have 30?
29, 30, something like that. And a snag.
Look,
he can have that.
You've changed.
Haven't I?
Oh, you're all about just running wing patterns now.
We can talk about the Wingers Club later, which is...
Because it's a great club. There's only 2 of Source is still well and
He's
truly
a paid intern, is what we've decided. We've given out roles, but we'll talk about that later. It was a good win, though.
Andrew and Track, are they okay?
It was funny as... Track came up to me. You know what Track's like?
He gets real cut if someone calls him a name during the game. Yeah. He thinks he takes it personally.
So I don't even think Andrew called him a name. I spoke to Andrew after the game. He said, I might have told Track to grow up or get serious or something with himself. Like, Andrew's not exactly he's not out to hurt anyone's feelings. And Track came up to me and he's like, what was he talking about? And I was like, I don't know, mate.
There's a famous Port Adelaide game where one of the Port Adelaide players, I think it was maybe Ollie Wines, was saying to Track that Jack Trengrove says he hates you.
Yeah.
And Track called Jack Trengrove within a minute of the game finishing and saying, I've heard that you hate me. So you reckon that got to him?
Oh, I definitely did, but it's funny. No, there was a bit of feeling. Chunk got Andrew pretty good as well.
Chunk gets everyone pretty good. Yeah.
So, no, look, I thought it was a good... as I said, Freo, I think are a pretty good side. An honest side, and we played well enough, and I think a lot of stuff for us to build on.
We'll talk about our round 2 game a little bit later with our special guest.
Yep, we shall.
Junior McDonald, James, was there presenting Jimmy Jordan his jumper before the game.
Yeah, no, that was special.
Have you met Junior before?
In passing, never really broken it down with him, but obviously I know who he is, and I thought he spoke really well, and special for Jim, our debutant, who kicked a snag.
Kicks a snag every game he plays.
Should have kicked 2. I've only put one on his chest and had him 30 out directly in front.
We had a lot of people miss setties up that top end. What's that top end called?
That's the city end.
Or the city end? The
city end.
The end that our cheer squad's not at.
City end.
City end. There you go. Well, we had some 23s to pick from. Bernie Vince was also in town. We were almost going to do a dual.
Imagine that. You should have got Bernie down just for the...
Both best and fairest winners. Yeah. One a captain, one not. And Bernie probably isn't captain material. I mean, he was leadership group.
Leader in his own right, Bernard. But he, look, I think special day for Jim, and he got a nice shower at the end, which was
Yeah.
It's good to get a win on your debut as well, isn't it?
Correct. And we'll talk about this with our man coming in with the news later.
Our newsman.
Positive newsman. We got an absentee today, but the show goes on.
It's funny how the news happens, whether you're there or not.
It was his first win as well, but wasn't in the circle because he was potentially sub. So
yeah,
I'm curious, but he gets the game and it is his first win. So
I know he didn't get the shower, which is good.
I'll ask him about that. Amy Park, we're back.
It feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
We're back here on Mondays.
Which we love, and Fridays as well.
And Fridays, which is Captain's Run.
Captain's Run. So we love the big oval out at Casey for main trainings, for those wondering, the reasoning there. It's a nice little drive in, isn't it?
Yes.
Not for you.
No, a little bit longer for me. Saw Cam Munster this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah, just...
Did you talk about anything in particular?
Just, how you been? I haven't seen him since the hub.
Sure.
They cost me an 8 this week. So I was going to go back-to-back 8s. But they lost Thursday night. So to be fair, I knew I wasn't going to get 8 the whole round. So I told him about that. He tipped the D's.
Good on him.
He lost on the Adelaide Geelong game.
That's all. Well,
I'm sure
I think
majority of people would have.
Munster, friend of the podcast now because you spoke to him. Or?
Yeah, we'll get him on.
Sweet.
We'll get him on. One of our friends.
We have a lot of friends.
Debuted for Carlton Thursday night.
Big Porterhouse.
Yes.
And didn't he ever?
I was listening to it on Triple M.
Jeez, he was,
And Luke Darcy called him Stephen Kernahan at one point. Is Stephen Kernahan? Is that
Sticks Kernahan, yeah.
Sticks Kernahan.
Yeah.
And Corey McKernan. He said it was a cross between the two. Is that a massive compliment?
So I saw Porter, as you know, came to the wine bar, your wine bar after the game, and he said, I felt more like a bit of a come again Wayne Carey, which I think is probably closer to the mark, the big fella. Did you see his strut, the roll around from 55? The confidence, unbridled confidence.
He reckons he was centering it. I highly doubt that.
No, we love to see him.
General thoughts on footy?
My general thoughts, look, I'm interested in I've had a heap of my friends who are regular punters ask about that rule on the mark.
Yeah.
Do you think that... Didn't really notice it as much in our game. We had a pretty low scoring game relative to...
I stood on the mark once.
How'd you find it?
It was for a set shot. Tabernar was going around the corner, and I 100% touched that.
Did you really?
Yeah, but it was literally the slightest little thing on my middle finger.
Did you claim it?
I said I've touched it, but I said to the umpire, I was quite realistic. I said I've touched it, but it probably won't come up. I literally it's like someone just flicked the top of my finger.
No, it won't come up on hotspot.
If they really slow mo it, there might be a little deflection.
Yeah, okay.
But
did you kick the goal?
Yeah, goal. So I was slightly disappointed because
you should have gone harder.
Yeah, well,
you and the umpires are best mates. I'm sure they would have.
Didn't talk to them this week because.
What are you talking about, mate? I saw you in the centre pre-game or something like that.
I was asking him.
So you did talk to him.
Yeah, I said, "Bouncing it well, big fella." Speaking of umpire chat, McAvoy, did you hear his?
Big boy. Was it about harvesting?
Boys? It was hilarious.
No,
my harvesting friend got called for a throw when he tapped it on. Mm. You know those real ones it's a tap, but sometimes it sticks to your hand a bit of a scoop. And he says, mate, I literally tap it for a living to the umpire. Oh, big boy. That's 2 podcasts in a row he's got to mention. We might have to get him on as well.
He's probably a friend of ours.
He's a friend of the podcast.
That's funny.
We got a big guest today. Two really good guests coming up. So we're just going to quickly get to our favourite segment.
Positive Lingers.
Positive Lingers.
I have to sing the jingle, don't I?
You have to sing the jingle.
It's Eddie Langdon's
segment.
You go first. A lot
of positivity around the jingle.
Plenty.
Yeah, as well.
People love the jingles. We should... Did you get Jess's... Actually, no, I'll bring that up later. You go first for the Positive Lingers.
Okay. My one is I overheard a conversation between Ed Langdon and Simon Goodwin.
That happened,
yeah.
Sure.
Which that's a positive in the first place. But the point I want to get to is they were talking about a dinner reservation.
Wow.
And then into more digging, it's just them two. And it's not a professional catch up.
So the positive there is that Lingers is investing in the football club outside the required hours. Is that
correct?
The positive?
Correct. He would have never had dinner with Ross Lyon.
No, I don't think that ever happened. I think he lived in... So for those who don't know the geography, Fremantle is on a highway and then all the way down to their training facilities are 20 minutes on a highway. And he just used to get out straight away on the highway on his bicycle and ride back to Fremantle and never see anyone. So that's a good
20-minute drive on the highway and he rode.
Well, you know what Lingers is like.
It's a big ride.
You know what Lingers is like. You dare to get... He rode to the G on the way home. I offered him a lift home and he said he didn't want it.
That's a big hill he has to get up.
Big hill. That's what we spoke about after the game. Sorry. So I was at the wine bar for Clary's 100th. So a few of us went back and had a few drinks with some dinner, and it was really nice. And then I thought in the middle of the night, so Lingers and I have this thing called the Wingers Club. Pretty self-explanatory. I played on the wing. Lingers is the captain of the Wingers Club.
Yeah.
And we've been joking about getting matching tattoos and things of that nature. And
what tattoos?
So I was going to get half of a tram line on one shoulder, and then he was going to get the other half of the tram line on the other shoulder. And then when we put our shoulders together, and the same thing applies with the W.
Yeah.
Tram tracks, for those who don't know, you just, as a winger, you run straight lines up and down.
Yep.
So that's the tram track joke. But I thought of something really funny, and I thought Lingers will love this. And maybe at 10:30, I sent him a text message saying, this is what, I sent him a text. And Lingers replied.
At 10:30?
At 10:30.
Yeah, right.
Replied to me about banter. So he's investing into the off-field side of the footy club.
I reckon we get him on soon.
I think he's poised. We could get I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but I think we're trending in the right direction for Lingers to come on.
Everyone will realise why we love him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone should realise already.
That's a real positive, Lingers.
Isn't it? Just like him doing normal stuff, but it's positive.
Jess has given me feedback on the Lingers segment.
Does she like it?
She doesn't like it.
Well, that's because I think, and here we go, this is going to be a hot take. I know Jess is listening, unless she's, skipped it because we've mentioned her name, but you got to stop being so negative. 2021 was a rebrand for the podcast. We're trying to be positive, and now you're not only ripping on Lingers, positive Lingers, but you're also ripping on Benny Gibson. That was her last target, wasn't it?
I don't agree with you, Angus. I think Jess is doing a great job.
Understood. Sorry, Jess. And you know what? Now that I sit here and think about it for a little bit, I'm way off base. Jess, you're brilliant. And we love you. You're a friend of ours at the podcast, and we think you're terrific. So, yeah.
Speaking of Jess, actually, no. Have you got anything in your notebook?
You covered up all of my stuff.
I've covered it?
Yeah. I think we covered it naturally pretty well without having to bring it up like you've just done, but... So,
you never started the topic. It was always
maybe I did it subliminally, so you didn't even realise.
I do not know what subliminally means, mate.
That's okay.
Do you want to help me out there? It's like you chuck in words because you know it's going to be great.
So there's 6 people in this room, just by show of hands. Who knows what subliminal means?
That's not what you said. You said subliminally.
Subliminally. Oh. Anyway. I digress.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have anything else for this segment. We've got a couple of big friends coming up, so should we maybe cut to an ad break?
Okay, you want to go to an ad break?
Let's cut to an ad break.
Done.
Thanks to our co-principal partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich Insurance. For over 100 years, they've been insuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love the D's.
So we're back. Off the top, I know I just said we got some big friends coming. I just wanted to break down. There was a bit of ruckus in the room. People wanted to know a bit more about the word subliminal. So I cited a Simpsons episode where the Navy released this song. You must have seen it, this song. And if you play it backwards, it says join the Navy. So the kids watch the song, they listen to the song, and then they go to bed and they start thinking about joining the Navy. So that's subliminal messaging. They don't know the messaging's there, but they all join the Navy.
And then what context did we use it in?
So I said, I subliminally got my points across to you. And that's why the conversation just flowed. And you said, the submarine, I don't know what that word means.
Going on last week when the harvesting issue.
Yeah.
Do you know how many Vic Metro sort of crew at this football club agreed with me?
No, I actually don't.
They know the word in theory, but they don't actually know what you do when you harvest.
See, I got a lot of the country compadres come up to me and say it's an absolute disgrace that you don't know. And I'm not I was, born in Subiaco and lived in Sandringham and I know what it means.
Yeah.
So I think, you know what it means now. Just improve. Don't get bitter, get better.
Let's subliminally digress.
Gee, that's not your best work. I'll digress.
All right.
Our friend.
Yep. You want to do the introduction?
No, you do it. I know you two are into each other. Cards Against Humanity, really. Off you go. Do a Cards Against Humanity intro. Why don't you?
All right. We're welcoming your lovely better half.
I'm not.
Danielle, friend of the podcast.
Thank
welcome.
you.
Officially welcome.
Thanks for having me.
We've been wanting to get you on since week 3.
Yeah, probably week 3 because that's when I came back.
Yep.
To save the
weird
podcast.
If it was me, Lever, and Danielle.
Yeah. It would be.
You're a friend of the podcast. You're a listener.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, I do listen, but I hope I'm a friend of the podcast. I told Gus last night that I think I'm a VIF. Very important friend.
So the distinction I make is friend is someone who's actually come on the podcast. So I said she's an honorary friend, but now she's a real one.
So she's definitely a friend of the podcast now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we hook in, speaking of the jingles that people love, on Saturday night, Danielle, myself, were walking back with you and Jess.
Yes.
To our cars. Danielle was driving, so was Jess. Both very responsible.
Yes.
And Danielle's coming on, and Jess made up a jingle for Danielle to do you remember that? So
do you remember it?
Well, I do remember it. I'm not going to sing it.
Did you get it, Matt?
But we agreed at the time that Jess was going to record it, and
I didn't get it. But did we sing it anyway?
So I remember it.
Okay, give it to us.
Well, I don't want to sing it. Because I'm going to have to do Jess's voice, and it's not going to be it's not going to be very cool.
Okay, so we're just going to leave it.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
Now, if for the listeners at home, if you can put this a few octaves above the one I'm currently in, then we'll check. Okay. This is a terrible thing. It's Danielle. She's here to chat.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
So just a couple of levels above that, you reckon?
Yeah. It's Danielle.
Yeah, actually.
That's probably it.
She's here to chat.
So that's Jess. Again, I don't want to say anything negative about Jess ever. But that's that's the jingle that she came up with.
Now, you weren't drinking this weekend because you had a big game Sunday.
Huge game.
Huge game.
For those that don't know, actually, let's go right back to the start. The first night I met you, you came to a team function and both of you were concussed from the game before. There's a concussion issue in this household.
That was what we first bonded over. It was our mutual...
How did you go?
Yeah, we won.
With the concussion or the
the game,
the concussion. You're over the concussions.
Yeah.
Played yesterday.
I've only had one, the one and only. So
touch wood.
Yeah, everyone touch wood.
You weren't wearing a helmet.
No helmet.
No helmet.
Me. Still don't wear a helmet.
Yeah.
But Gus has a few spare, so I actually have tried them on. They're a bit big.
Yeah, they're a little bit. But you performed well.
What, on the game on the weekend or with my concussion?
No, the game.
Yeah.
We're talking about the game now.
Yeah, okay. Well, I tried out a new position.
Oh, okay. Winger.
Yeah. No, guess again.
Ruck.
No.
She's out of the Wingers Club and has now started playing at blank. And that's a reference to Cards Against Humanity 2.
First time ever playing
halfback flank.
Yeah.
Halfback.
Yeah.
The new man on the mark rule. It's a halfback's game.
I don't think we really...
It was a bit wet, bit rainy, not a heap of marks.
Yeah, no, we got the win and...
Danielle played
okay.
Brilliantly. I watched.
Yep.
I'm a supportive old Haileybury. What are they called?
Yeah. A hab, husband and boyfriend.
Yeah, so I'm a hab. Yep. I'm sitting there and watching, and Danielle was, I wouldn't be overstating...
You're
brilliant.
Biased, though.
No, brilliant. I'm honest all the time, and a lot of good tackles. Rebound 50 stats would be high, I imagine. Meters gained, relatively high, and like a duck to water.
Thank you. I'd hope so. With
bit of contention as well.
Yeah.
Bit of contention. Danielle wasn't super happy with the switch up of the positions early, but
I didn't tell my teammates that, and if they're listening, they're gonna know that now.
Yeah, but. Nailed it, and
they read it all over your face when you saw your name at halfback.
She wore the number 10 as well.
Oh wow,
touching.
Was that given to you for a reason?
No, we just got to choose numbers for the day, so I chose it.
That's so cute.
Surprised you didn't choose number 11. And that was a practice game. So when does the real season start?
April 10, I believe. The VAFA starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put it in my camera. Go. Put it in my calendar.
You're rattled a bit.
For those listening, I just said I'll put it in my camera.
Some people take photos of their calendar.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and defend it. I'm just going to move on. Danielle, so Spuds games this weekend.
Yes.
Melbourne, St Kilda.
The major reason we've invited you in today, although we love to talk VAFA. Old Haileybury halfback wearing number 10. We love that, but the main reason it is Spuds game.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd say so. And it's Melbourne St Kilda, obviously. Yeah. Who are you going to be going for?
And is Richmond in this chat as well? Because
no, Richmond's out.
Richmond's out.
Yeah.
So it's Melbourne and St Kilda.
They do have a soft spot in my heart, but I don't.
They weren't really that good
in the early 2000s.
You were probably in and around the club.
Well, Dad
did have a
always
prelim in Brisbane.
Yeah, he claimed that.
Yeah.
Second last year.
Are you a Richmond supporter?
Yeah, I was a Richmond supporter.
There you go.
There you go.
Do you remember my old man as the CEO around the same time?
Yes, I do. Just vaguely.
Yeah. Well, you've met him a few times now.
Yeah. I know him now more as Angus's dad, but...
Well, Gus and I actually used to go to kinder together at the games.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Crash or something?
Yeah.
I remember. I vaguely remember that. Anyway.
Was that when you first started dating?
Well, Danielle has had a crush on me for a long time. I don't want to say when it started.
God.
We're not going into this on camera. So, who are you going for? It's Melbourne and St Kilda. Can I just say, at family dinner last night...
Yeah. It was heated.
It got a little bit heated.
It was heated.
Yeah, right.
Because I said, I'm probably going to go for Melbourne.
Okay.
And then it didn't go down well.
So all Frawleys are St Kilda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my older sister in particular, who's running the game,
Chelsea, who's doing a terrific job, by the way.
Conception, everything.
Yeah.
She said, if you don't go for Saints, you're not coming.
So can you go and not wear a scarf, or will you wear a Melbourne scarf?
I probably will just wear a badge.
Okay.
A little badge, a subtle one.
Yep.
I've got to say, yeah.
Have you worked out which player? Badge?
You, obviously.
So.
This is it. This is exactly what Jess and I have to deal with, because they say something that's not at all funny, and then they just can't stop laughing.
Best $6 I ever spent.
She's closed her body off to you as well. It's like you're out of the conversation.
The body language is damning. No, it's all right. You just do whatever comes naturally, Danielle. We want you to feel comfortable. So you haven't really answered the question.
Yeah, I'm just going to be diplomatic and say I don't mind.
Okay, well,
I'll be cheering for everyone.
Good answer.
Yeah, but yeah.
More Melbourne.
More you two.
Okay.
In particular.
And do you have an in particular player at St Kilda? No. Okay.
That's all right.
Nothing comes to mind, so no.
Doesn't bother. So they're obviously for a great cause.
Yes.
Men's mental health. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go into that in any depth, or?
Yeah, sure. So my older sister works at St Kilda, and she and St Kilda and Movember have created the Danny Frawley round, or match rather. So it's called Time to Talk. So the whole initiative is about getting people to talk to their friends and, just starting the conversation really. And all proceeds are going to be going to the Danny Frawley Health and Wellbeing Centre, which is being built at Moorabbin right now.
Oh, really?
I think it's going to be finished in 2022. Off the top of my head. And also Movember's Ahead of the Game initiative as well. So you can either buy merch at the game, T-shirts or hats, or donate at movember.com/spud.
And the Danny Frawley Wellbeing Centre, that will be used for which purpose? Is it outside of football, inside of football? So
it's going to be a community hub where they're going to be focusing on prevention. And it's just going to be a place where the community and past players and things like that can go. Yeah. Yeah. Who was the main person to organise this? I'm presuming there was a lot of back of house stuff ever since the idea probably came up last year at some point to be able to get it. We like to think Melbourne have some sort of involvement. I think it's round 2, presuming it's the number 2. Yeah.
Well presumed.
First home game as well. So talk to me about how this game came. I think it started off with Dad. Dad always wanted something named after him for starters. Never got on the team of the century because he was on the board choosing it for St Kilda.
Surely that gets you in.
No, I would have thought, but no. So I think it all started when the centre came about. That was obviously in his honour. And then they were thinking there's no real match or round for mental health and, getting money to go towards that. So we just thought it was a good idea to continue Dad's legacy and his name and name the game after him essentially. But, my sister actually got hired by St Kilda for this particular job. Yeah. So she's working in marketing over there, and she's been working really hard with the marketing team and Movember, obviously, to get up.
Yeah. How aware were you of the phrase time to talk before you went through what you've gone through?
I think before the trauma of Dad actually passing, we were all quite aware of it because he would always say that to us, and especially he was our coach at the footy club, and he would always say to us, if anyone's feeling down, send them a message, get around them, and just sort of normalised it for us. So I think we were quite privy to it, and he also had his podcast where he spoke about all that stuff as well. Yeah.
Was his podcast in the era of Gus and Gawny, was it?
No.
Did it stack up, do you reckon? In terms of how many listeners do we get? 100,000 a week?
Close to, yeah. 5 times the amount of people we had at the G.
Yeah. Surely we get more next home game.
Well, we're hoping for the game coming up. Definitely the round 2 game. Yeah, I've got a question which involves Angus. Sure. I'm proud of Angus for the amount of work that he does for this cause.
Me too.
Been a big Movember person for a few years now.
Yeah.
And raised a lot of money for Movember, and also the bike ride he did last year, which he still hasn't recovered from.
I think he's blocked it from his mind.
How proud of you? I know great family friends, and Angus is probably doing it because of the family friend bond and not necessarily yourself, but I'm sure you have some sort of involvement in his decision.
Just a little bit. It comes into the equation, I would have thought.
How proud of you of what he's doing in trying to raise awareness for mental health?
Very proud. Very, 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 very proud.
No, it's and I am equally as proud. This is, in all seriousness, continuing a legacy which I think needs to be continued and doing some great work. So on the back of that, I think we can now, Max, announce our little gift.
Yep.
Of,
do you want me to do it?
Well, I mean, we can do it together.
Well, we're going to do a GoFundMe, Danielle. What we're going to do is the playing group is
Melbourne
going to
Football
match
Club.
dollar for dollar anything that comes through from our Gus and Gawny loyal listeners.
And the Melbourne community in general.
Melbourne community. So we'll share it probably before this podcast gets aired. There'll be some sort of link. Well, it'd actually be quite stupid to share it before the podcast gets aired, but we'll do it simultaneously.
Simultaneously. It's a great word, Max.
Yep, thank you. We'll go dollar for dollar to raise money for Movember and also the Danny Frawley Wellbeing Centre.
Yep.
So hopefully we get some people to donate.
That's amazing. Thanks.
We will, and I'm sure the Melbourne family will get around this one because it's a super important cause.
Yep. I've got one last one. Do you have any more?
I'm interested in your last one because I think we've got one as well. So you go.
Mine's still slightly serious.
Okay. Well, then we will let you go first.
Do you worry for Angus with the profession that he's in, potentially being a similar profession to your dad? And are you constantly checking in on his well-being and making sure that he's handling the adversity of being an AFL footballer?
I think I do constantly check in on you, probably daily. You probably find me annoying. But I guess you're probably hinting at the concussion. Maybe I'm reading between the lines
Potentially
there.
as well.
Yeah. I think when Dad played, from then to now, there's been so many medical advancements, and I've full confidence in the doctors at the clubs to make the right decision. And also I think Angus is super, super smart, and he can make decisions for himself surrounding that. So I have full faith that he would make the right decision, and he has, and he's obviously still playing.
Yep.
But yeah, did that sort of answer your question?
It does.
And probably reflecting now, ours is a little bit of a serious question as well, Danielle, for Max. So Danielle said, I'm going to come on the podcast. Max is going to ask me a lot of questions. And I said, it's probably not a bad idea just to have one to go back, just keep the conversation going 2 ways.
Yes.
And she said, I don't know.
Ask it, or is Danielle going to ask it?
I was giving some context because I said, Danielle, you just got to be prepared. It's a no-cut podcast. It might be a little bit contentious, but I want you to go, feel confident. You've got me at your back, so you can ask this question now.
So obviously was with Jess and yourself on Saturday night.
Yes.
And I do listen to the podcast every week, so I'm well aware of the harvest
fiasco.
Harvesting dilemma.
Yeah.
And Jess just sort of made me aware that potentially you want to buy a farm and have some cattle and milk some cows. just wanted you to run me through that.
I thought at some point in my life, I'd like to get some acres.
Sure.
Some land.
So you know what an acre is?
Yep. It's close to a kilometre. I don't know. Thereabouts. Thereabouts. 4 acre block.
So we're going to keep ploughing through this one. So you're thinking about getting some.
And then I wondered. One, I'm not going to mow all that lawn myself. So I'm going to need some sort of...
Something to eat the lawn.
Someone to mow the lawn for me, or an animal to potentially eat the lawn.
So you've gone with cows?
Well, I'm not sure if cows eat grass, but if they do, I'd love some cows. I'd love some sheep.
Cade's in the corner crying. Specifically, though, you mentioned milking cows. Yes. And I'm wondering... And Danielle sort of asked me, if you don't know what a harvest is, do you know the first thing about milking cows?
Yes.
Well, go on. Edify me.
You squeeze something into a bottle. Squeeze the milk. Squeeze the dairy product out into a bottle. If you want butter, you leave it in the sun for a bit.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to learn while I'm out on the...
I don't want to be that test cow.
Oh, God. I don't want to be a cow within 100 acre radius of your farm.
Whole milk's beautiful as well, so I won't do
anything. It'll be good for your coffees,
so you're just doing
unpasteurised.
Your artesian.
Okay, that's a bit...
So I'm really excited for that part of my life.
So are we. I think we can all say here that we'll look forward. We'll come down and have a coffee when that's all done. But Danielle, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully... the Melbourne supporters and the Gus and Gawny fans, friends of the podcast, honorary friends I've learnt, anyone who hasn't been on, dig deep because it's a great cause.
Yeah.
And, the round 2 game will hopefully be a good game. Hopefully we win because you'll be going for us.
You're a Melbourne supporter, obviously.
Sure.
So,
but more importantly, the time to talk motto gets out there, and men's mental health is obviously a big talking point around not just football but around the world at the moment. So,
100%.
It's a really good cause. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you. And if you're going to the game, make sure you grab a hat or a t-shirt.
Yeah, and we'll put all sorts of links.
Yeah, we'll fire up, get the socials going. Social media manager will get across that.
Social media manager will get across that. Thank you. Break time.
Thanks to our co-principal partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich Insurance. For over 100 years, they've been insuring the people and things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love the D's.
All right, welcome back. It was great to have Danielle on.
Wasn't it? She's brilliant. Way out of my league, so... Yes,
and hopefully this GoFundMe goes well and we're able to raise a lot of money for the round 2 game.
I'm sure we will.
We had a late absentee.
Yes, unfortunately.
Our great friend of the podcast.
Positive friend.
Benny Gibson.
Yeah.
Is over in Perth for the AFLW game, covering the game from a social media point of view and also from a website point of view.
Sure.
And doing a great job over
Brilliant job.
I wonder if he's watched back 3 hours.
Well, that's a physical feat. I think he would have needed some help. Maybe got a few of the girls in to help him because I can only imagine the size of that winder. It's a 2-man job at least. So pray to Benny and his watch.
But
it's a great watch, isn't it?
Yes. But we've got our second news hound who's also fighting for position 1. So he's got another chance to do that today.
In my head, it's like Ron Burgundy and Jack Lyon for those who've seen Anchorman 2. So it's not a second news guy. He's a newsman in his own right, and we're very lucky to have him.
Yeah, we are. So, Kate Chandler, welcome.
Kate Chandler, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back, guys.
Off the top, mate, you were sitting in the room. We all were here. We can't avoid it anymore. Max threw out, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but something along the lines of an acre being a few kilometres or what do you say?
Relatively equivalent to a kilometre.
Okay. So can you just, your knuckles are white?
I just finished wiping the tears away. I lost it in the corner over there. That was hilarious.
A kilometre squared?
No, so there's imperial and metric system.
Yep.
So imperial's acre and metric's hectare. So there are 2.47 acres in a hectare.
Yep.
And a hectare is 10,000 square metres. So the MCG, is just under 2 hectares.
So how close was I to my comment?
You're in a different postcode.
Okay. And another question I had for you that would grind me about potentially wanting some cattle in the future.
Yep.
Is cattle one particular animal? Just cows, cattle?
Just cows.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's bad from you because we cleared that up. You said sheep could be cattle and now we told
Angus,
you, we corrected you.
wrong.
I
Sheep
said
is stock.
You're a dog.
Livestock.
You are a dog. This is, I hope we're a non-cut podcast and we've rolled through the break.
Yeah.
I'll be vindicated if so. If not, well done, Max.
Anyway, have you got some news?
I do have a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, back at Amy Park. It's great to be back.
It is great to be back.
It is great to be back. And shout out to the woman who reversed into me at Amy Park this morning.
What, this morning?
Yeah, this morning. Anyway, we digress.
what shape's your car in?
No, it's all right.
Dinged up?
The Commodore's fine. No, it's fine. There's a bit of dent in the number plate.
That Commodore's seen worse days than just a reverse park.
It has. Onto some club news. Joel Smith, potentially full training next week.
Wow.
Smart, he's back.
The smarter, after a compound finger dislocation.
That was as bad as I've seen.
It was disgusting.
Did you see it?
I was in the same marking contest.
Oh.
That didn't answer your question. I did see it, but we were in the same marking contest when it happened.
There was blood all over the medical area. It wasn't nice.
No.
The twos, great win.
Yep.
72 points to 15.
To 15.
To 15.
Yeah, right.
Apparently it was not ideal conditions.
The wind picked up down at
played a bit of a
Casey. If it's
factor.
windy at the G, I've got a gut feel that
Yep.
it's going
Blowing
to
a chain.
windy down
Cut
the
off a chain.
fields.
Yeah.
They're all
Vines,
good? Vines,
Vines, Melky, Hibbo all got through, no issues.
That's a talent from you to be able to know what happened down at Casey when he was warming up with us at the G.
Brilliant.
That is homework, and that is doing his due diligence.
Due diligence is a phrase that is appropriate in this context.
I don't know why I went quiet. I should have backed
You just
myself
got to back yourself
and
in
went confidently.
Exactly.
You touched on warming up at the G.
Yep.
Got some sub news.
Wow.
The sub
Beautiful
obviously new
segue.
rule to the AFL.
Yep.
And I had the privilege this week. But I'd just like to touch on Connor Downey for Hawthorn.
Yep.
He was the sub and he didn't play and it was his debut.
That's stiff.
That
Don't know
is
if I like that.
So he didn't
That's like us doing a Jake Bowie type setup.
Yeah, here you go,
didn't
mate.
actually get on the ground, but it counts as his debut.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
That hurts, doesn't it?
I guess he probably didn't have a choice. How would you?
You were most upset about your averages being halved. Is that correct? So your 8 tackles against Sydney Swans is now 4 as an average.
Yeah,
That
it
hurts
is
you,
what
doesn't
it is. A little bit, yeah.
And
It's
will you next time we win go in the middle of the circle?
Yeah,
If
I
you're
think so.
obviously-
well, because for the viewers, it was my second game, and technically, we didn't win the Sydney game in my debut. So second game, I played sub, but didn't get on, but we won. So
Were you thinking about it?
I'm not sure.
Nah, you weren't.
I wasn't really.
You weren't. There was no way you would have.
No, but in the second quarter, when Dogger went down, I was kind of like, maybe I'm going to get a run
Luke
here.
Jackson was off the ground for a bit there in the second quarter.
Yes, with a sternoclavicular joint. Yes.
Where's that?
It's in here, somewhere.
Yep.
Shoulder region.
In your clavicle region?
Yep. I don't know if you guys saw the Geelong Adelaide game.
Bits of it.
Yeah, it was sort of going when our game was finishing.
Yeah.
Listened to it on the radio a little bit.
Dangerfield, did you see that incident?
Yes, I did.
Reported.
Have you
Bit of a
seen
head
it?
clash, wasn't it?
Head clash on Jake
He
Kelly.
elected to bump.
Yeah.
Then
Head on head.
bit of head
Broken
action.
nose, I heard.
Well,
Not sure.
I heard Kelly had a broken nose. Was it Kelly?
a lot of blood.
Jake
Yeah,
Kelly. Yeah.
Kelly.
Looks like Rick Lever.
Does.
Sure.
Similar number.
Same position.
Same number.
Same position as well.
Same position. He is their new lever.
Same pay packet.
Jake to Jake.
I dare say Kelly, he captained them a couple of times when Sloan was out injured last year. So I dare say
So he's on $1 million.
quite highly regarded down there.
What did you see the incident? What?
Yeah, I did.
Angus can have his say.
Well, I think he's in a bit of trouble. The tribunal the AFL have made it clear that these sorts of bumps, if you choose to do them, then you bear the responsibility of what happens, I think. And there's a fair bit going on in terms of poor Jake Kelly getting his head cleaned up, and I think he's going to get he's going to be made an example of.
Well, yeah, he faces the tribunal today, so I suppose we'll get the verdict on that pretty soon.
You'll be there.
Microphone. When Danger walks out,
will
we'll
be
see
out.
Kate.
Paddy, Kate here from Gus and Gawny. Just want to get a few words on you missing the Melbourne Geelong game.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
Where the magic week there,
miss,
cover 2 or 3.
could miss
and,
us. Yeah, which we'll take.
Yeah, well, I mean, a team without Dangerfield is ideally better for us than a team with Dangerfield, you'd say?
You held it together well there. You nearly lost it. But yeah, I think we wait with, hope that
I'm not
going
to be watching tonight, but
The Tribunal?
Yes, I'm not going to be watching live.
I'll fill you in.
We'll
get Cade in next time.
I'd like to think we can beat Geelong with Dangerfield in the team. But
that's what we want to hear.
Yeah,
good on you, Maxie. Good on you, Maxie.
He's a good man, that guy.
Maxie.
150 games for Maisie this week.
Jeez, he got a lot out, didn't he, Goldie?
Yeah.
150.
That's a fair effort.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'd say it probably is exciting.
Putting together some really good footy at the moment. You would hate to be on Stephen May if you're a tall forward at the moment. Mind you,
and
Lever and Tomlinson isn't much of a reprieve at the moment.
Agreed.
Well, I remember, from the weekend, Fife would go down and Maisie would account for Fife really well as well. So tall forwards, opposition's best sort of player.
Having Tomlinson certainly helps there because it allows, for example, St Kilda, Max King, Tomlo could take. Mm-hmm. And then maybe a Membry or someone who's their real damaging forward. Actually, Max King's probably the damaging forward, to be fair as well. Coming back from hitting the head with a golf ball. That's a bad shot.
I mean, that's a risk we all take going on the golf course.
Standing ahead of the golf course, the ball. It's always risky, but you think, I might try and speed up and get to my ball. No.
Imagine, well, I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't know what was going through Max's head other than the golf ball, but... He's back. He's done the concussion protocol, and we look forward to seeing him.
And finally, the viewers, Max Gawn now knows what a harvest is.
Yes. Have you educated him?
We've had a talk.
I was stuck in the middle of a conversation between Cade Chandler and Paul McDonald, which is Oscar and Tom's old
who is a farmer.
And I was getting well educated on all things farming, hunting. Cade was slightly arrogant in the conversation to a well-weathered farmer like Paul.
Does Paul listen to the podcast?
He should do.
Okay, he doesn't.
I didn't ask him.
Sure. So it wasn't like Paul said, I listened to the podcast.
No.
I have to teach you about harvesting.
I think he saw it on the Melbourne FC Insta when they did a little... Cade's a slightly, in Paul's words, not mine, slightly arrogant 19-year-old farmer.
Sure.
21.
Yeah, well, he said 19, not me. Lastly, I've got a question for you. What do subs do if they don't play?
I think it is subjective to the club, but in my case, it was a running session on the G after the game.
See, that's good and bad. You get to do a running session on the G, but you're by yourself. Yeah. Were there any drunken people still in the stands?
There were.
And were they yelling out?
I had one of them actually, yelling out like, it's important you get your first 5 out, get your run. Get your run up and going real quick. And then he messaged me on Instagram later and he goes, sorry, sorry, I hope you didn't take offense or anything. I was like, no, you're all good, mate, whatever. And he goes, talk to me about player sponsorship.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That means what I'm doing in the sponsorship space has made waves.
Which is impressive, Max. And before we go there, I just want to say on the topic of subs, my friend Charlie Constable plays for Geelong.
Yep.
Played 5 minutes or something and then had to do his run away from home.
Friend.
And did his run at Adelaide Oval. So you think it's
was there a Fremantle carryover out there? No.
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah.
So there was a Fremantle.
Well, sorry, the Melbourne fans aren't known for...
Stefan Giro from Norwood was the Fremantle sub and he got on when Pearce went down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but so Chooks running up and down Adelaide Oval. And you know what the Adelaide fans are like?
Yeah, Shooksy, he must have loved it.
Chook.
Sorry.
Jeez, I tell you what, positive 21's gone straight out the window in this little segment, hasn't it? But Cade...
Well, it's because you haven't brought your notebook again.
I've got a note page here.
Just put it in your camera, mate.
We'll leave it on that note. See you
Been an
next
absolute
week.
pleasure.